Hello? Hello? I want to help. I know who you are and... I want to help you all.
Ape vermin, you will all be wiped out.
Alright, what do we have?
Corpse, burnt to a crisp.
Identification?
Dental inconclusive, but 4 days ago a report was filed for a missing Tom Renault.
Alright, get someone on the ground. See if we can get a positive ID.
Seems to be a closed shape. Played with matches and got himself burnt while out at sea.
Just get on it.
Alright, but it's going to go cold.
And that's precisely what happened, miss. Case went cold, months later, and was determined accidental death. I'll give you the file, if you think you can help.
Oh yes, it will be a big help.
I am an earth reptile. It is what I always have been. It is what I shall be until the day I die and beyond. Any works left behind bearing my name, the name Brigadier, will acknowledge to the future that whilst I lived, I was an earth reptile. I am an earth reptile. My heritage is the earth, not to cower below it, not to cast it aside. My heritage is to walk freely upon the surface of my world. This world I and my forebears shaped. It is a world that I acknowledge may have forgotten me, but a world which will soon remember. It is a world that shall welcome me back with open arms, and I shall wallow in its glory. I am an earth reptile. My future belongs to the earth, to my forebears and my descendants. My future, brothers and sisters, kith and kin, is your future. Together, we shall unbind the chains that hold us in the past, the misdemeanors of the old, ignorant and afraid. Together, we shall reclaim the earth for ourselves. If the apes will not accept our supremacy, they will be eradicated. I am an earth reptile. You are all earth reptiles. Today begins the dawn of our future.
Tautology ball. Correct final paragraph. You will need to rewrite that piece.
But Mother, what about the whole thing? Is it what Chuck would call inflammatory?
Oh, I imagine so, Ball. In fact, I certainly hope it is. He could do with a shock, and your recital at the chamber tomorrow night will certainly give him that. Beginning and dawn mean the same thing in the sense you're using them.
Thank you, Mother.
Good night, my dear.
Auggi, Ichthar has given great news. My brother, his shelter, has survived. Octo lives.
Chuck, that is wonderful news. If only Dorix and the other Sea Devil warriors survived.
Of course. Members of his shelter.
If my beloved's family has any honor, they will find a way to eradicate the apes and return the planet to us.
Yes, so you always say. Ah, you have company. I will leave you to it.
But I wasn't... Good evening, Kruger.
I had thought you retired to rest, Auggi.
What brings you to this level late at night?
Night, day. Do we really think of such things? Your greeting, Auggi, so antiquated.
Are you checking up on me, Kruger? Who do you believe I was talking to? The Sea Devils? The Triad?
I don't know. I never suggested anything, Auggi. I am merely doing my job as requested by Baal. The experiments are approaching an important peak, and I need to ensure that your daughters can protect us when they are ready. Feel free to leave now. I am preparing to await their messages.
Of course.
This man is your next target. He is not a villain. Well, within reason. He is a member of Her Majesty's government. So security's going to be tight on this one. We need him dead because someone is on our tail, trying to do our work for us and getting everything in a right tizzy.
I don't need to know that.
With this man dead, we can pin everything on Sir Marmaduke Carrington Smythe and make everything better for everyone.
Consider it done.
Damn, I wish they would stop sending me these things. Dear Dr. Shaw, I shall keep this brief. My friend Grant Traynor and I are very worried about the activities of C-19. You probably know them as a liaison between the British
government, your unit group, and the United Nations. But there's far more to C-19 than you, Brigadier Lieutenant Stewart, Commander Gilmore, Major General Scobie, and certainly Sir John Sudbury are aware. We feel that you have much less invested in the establishment than a military person, and less to lose except your personal honour. Now, no one can demote you or cut off your pension if you disagree with them. You see, Trainer is currently based up at C-19's North-Eastern Research Station, attempting to find some concrete evidence to bring to your attention. Naturally, you don't know anything about C-19's activities up north, do you? And why should you? Well, you see, we believe that you and every citizen of Britain, if not the whole damn UN, ought to know. What is going on up there has terrifying implications for us all. And I'm sure you know what the Glasshouse is. You may assume, because we doubt anyone would have thought to tell you differently, that it is connected to C-19 and therefore the government. Unit in Geneva and so on and so forth. You'd be wrong. I'm afraid, my dear Elizabeth, you need to be prepared to discover the truth about many things you've taken for granted while at UNIT. You are the only civilian employed by UNIT, and despite your signature on the OSA form, I have the document in front of me, you are the only person within the operation who could uncover this truth. You'll have help. A journalist from Amsterdam is in the country. She's looking for the big story. And frankly, we are inclined to help her get it. Breaking C-19 wide open can only be beneficial. Now, if you would like to know more or meet up with the journalist, Miss Kristen, please let us know by leaving a light on in your living room window at 4 a.m. any night after the 23rd of this month.
We will contact you soon. I hope we can help each other and ultimately our fellow mankind by exposing the truth. Yours truly, a friend. A friend? Is this Jeff playing a joke? Trainer didn't come. Damn! Trainer supplied all the evidence he could. Trainer? How do I know that name? And how do they know about UNIT?
Hello? Dr. Shaw?
Yes, this is Liz. Is that Miss Kristen?
How did you know?
A guess.
Did you get a couple of letters from a friend who didn't give you his name?
I had, but having not been at home on the night of the 23rd, I failed to light the lamp.
Light the lamp? Jesus, how melodramatic. The British sense of humour is well known, but that's almost medieval.
Well, Chicago in the 30s at least. Look, do you understand any of this?
I do not. My editor in Amsterdam gave me a message a few days ago telling me to go to the Central Office of Information in London, where I was told to look up a particular file about a fire in the Channel Islands. When I got there and showed them my identification, there was a letter waiting for me, telling me to go to a place called Small Marshes and watch.
And did you?
Yeah, I went. Pathetic place. Full of pathetic people, but very, well, English, I suppose. But I certainly saw some interesting things, and I think we should discuss them. Tomorrow?
Yes, of course. I'll be there.
Good.
Now maybe we'll get to the bottom.
Hello? Is that Dr. Shaw?
Who are you?
Unimportant, Elizabeth. Quite unimportant. I tried to reach you at UNIT, spoke to the doctor, I think, and some army clod leader, but I'd obviously missed you. I'm glad you're home. Please don't bother asking how I got your number or address. I watched your flat, but there was no light. I can only assume that you have not been back lately.
No. Now, look, who are you?
Trainer's dead. Poor chap. If you want future proof that we, or rather, I'm telling the truth, watch the news tonight. I'm going to tell Jana Kristen to do the same, now that I know that you've spoken. Au revoir.
Just wait a minute. How the hell do you know? Damn it. And just how did you know I'd spoken to this Jana Kristen, huh?
John, you are due at Lord Blake's reception in 15 minutes or so.
What I do not know is what I have done in the eyes of our Lord to be presented with you, Clive Alexander Fortescue, former Secretary to the Chief of Defence, as my own private pain in the posterior. Fortescue, if you continually take valuable time telling me I'm going to be tardy, then tardy I will be, simply because you have distracted me. In other words...
Yes, sir. I know, sir. Shut up, Clive.
Exactly. Shut up, Clive. Words spoken, no doubt, a great many times by the Chief of Defence over the years.
Yes, Sir John. Familiar sentiments. Nevertheless, you are due there.
Clive, belt up. There, a new phrase for you to learn.
Consider it heard, absorbed, and learned, Sir John.
Good grief, man. Why on earth do I need a hat and scarf? It's the middle of the summer, and I'm only going to my car.
Appearances, Sir John. There may be members of the press or television crews out there.
Bearing in mind that the Prime Minister is honouring us with his exalted presence, you know damned well that the press are there. I still fail to see why I should go out looking like a refugee from the sad old men's rest home for the bewildered.
My apologies, Sir John. I just assumed that you'd want to look as though you were suitable for a position in the House of Lords.
Oh, all right, you win this round. But I vow to make you laugh first this evening. You're not going to win 4 rounds in a week. Do you know how many non-hereditary members of the House of Lords got there without being members of the House of Commons? Very few indeed. The opportunities simply aren't there.
And frankly, being head of Department C-19 is not a meal ticket to those comfy seats and long lunches. I know. But we both need to dream about something.
Ready to face the public, Mr. Fortescue?
Whenever you are, Lord Sudbury of...
I don't know, Fortescue. Where shall I be Lord Sudbury of?
Lord Sudbury of late appointments, Why don't these reporter people bugger off back to Fleet Street and invent some copy like they normally do?
Good, it's that young Glasgow boy driving. What's his name again?
Morton, Sir John. Try to get it right if you speak to him. Last time you called him Hughes, your previous dog's body.
Did I really?
Well, Morton didn't know whether to correct you or not.
Of course he should have. Poor chap must think I'm a beast or some such, ready to eat him alive. Never fear, young Morton will be correctly appellated, acknowledged, and complimented in his driving.
And if he's a bad driver?
All the better. It'd knock a few of the others off the road, eh?
Well, you won't get anywhere if you don't tie your shoelace up, Sir John. Going arse over tit in front of the BBC will not do any of our careers any good.
Thank you, Fortescue. What would I do without you?
You're putting on weight, Sir John.
That footage is from shortly before 3 o'clock today, where 4 shots were fired outside the House of Commons, leaving Private Secretary of Sir John Sudbury, Clive Fortescue, Parliamentary driver Alan Morton, and Defence Correspondent for the Daily Chronicle dead, and Sir John injured. Sir John is currently undergoing surgery in St. Thomas's Hospital, but it is understood that his wound is not life-threatening. The Prime Minister has tonight reaffirmed his government's anti-terrorist commitment, suggesting that he believes this attack to be the work of the IRA. The shots seem to have been fired...
Yes.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth, but I did tell you that something would happen.
Were you responsible for this? Is this some kind of attempt to get at me through people I know? People I work with?
No, I assure you not. I just knew this was going to happen. It's following a pattern. I know who is responsible, and it's got nothing to do with the Northern Ireland. It's all to do with Unit, Glasshouse, C-19, and everything else you're involved in.
So this is my fault? It's because of me?
No, it's because of you and your unique status in Unit that I need to rely on you. I provided you with an associate, a real investigator, who can use his talents to piece things together. She knows nothing about you or where you work. Her independent view could help you shift through things.
And why can't you do anything?
I'm an old man, Elizabeth. I've sat on the sidelines all my career. It's what I do best. Manipulating people in situations I thought I could contain them, you see, but I was wrong.
So you know who they are?
Of course.
So why can't you tell me?
Elizabeth, consider this to be a game of snakes and ladders. Yes, I could put a ladder leading from square 2 to square 99, but you need to play the game, get through every square, find everything I found. Otherwise, what I know, what you two find out, won't stand up to scrutiny and won't stand up in court if you confront them without having amassed any shred of evidence that will cover their tracks. They're very good, you know. Oh, and you'll be pleased pleased to know that Sir John Sudbury is going home tomorrow. He's fine, just a flesh wound.
Jesus Christ.
Hello? Who are you?
Mark Marshall. Are you alright?
Yes. The Silurian just stunned me.
What?
A Silurian. Them over there.
What are they? Are they monsters? Will they eat us?
No, Mark. No. They're vegetarians.
Actually, we're not. But unlike apes, we synthesize all our food so as not to use up our planet's resources.
I see. I'm sorry, I was mistaken. Why have you captured us?
We are Earth reptiles. This is our planet. You are an infestation, and by rights should be wiped out. However, we have need of the hatchling.
Me? Why?
You will find out.
I've met your people before. Perhaps you know of Ockdale and Cato?
Were you responsible for their deaths?
Sula, do not say anything else.
No, Donnie. We need to know how they died. Chuck and the others must have their revenge on the apes.
Please! Let me speak! Thank you. I am called the Doctor. Ockdale was my friend. He was the victim of an uprising within your own people, and I believe he was murdered by one of them. The apes had nothing to do with his death.
Morka? Probably. He was always a fool.
This Morka, he released a plague to kill the apes. Ockdale helped me find a cure, but the apes retaliated, in the only way they knew how. Desperate and afraid, much as Morka had been, they fought back.
They murdered our people.
No. Many of them died, I know. But some were put back into hibernation. Cato certainly was. The apes sealed the caves up, entombing them, but I am sure many of them still live. Indeed, a great many were never revived and are still fast asleep, unaware of anything that transpired.
Why did you befriend Ockdale? To betray him?
No. I sought a way for the Earth reptiles to live in harmony with the apes. Ockdale also wanted this, but paranoia on both sides ultimately doomed such plans. It was a terrible waste of lives, both reptile and ape.
Ape lives are unimportant.
I think all life is important. Ockdale believed that too.
Then Ockdale was a fool. We shall be back in our shelter soon. You will answer to Chuck and the Triad.
I'm sorry. I tried.
Will these reptiles kill us then?
I really don't know, Mark. Why not tell me how you came to be here?
So, work must be very busy. The office seems to call a lot, or keep you there for days on end. London's not so far away that you can't come home, no matter how late, once in a while.
Sorry, Fiona, but at this time of year things do get very hectic. Foreign clients arriving at odd hours and wanting to be entertained and such things.
And just who is this Miss Hawk who keeps phoning you up?
Maisie? Oh, she's been with the firm since day one. I suppose you could call her my Girl Friday.
Really? And what does being a Girl Friday entail?
Oh, honestly, darling, she's engaged to be married to one of the young accountants, Sam. He's an ex-boxer who'd flatten me easily. Please don't start inventing fantasy women to keep me at the office.
Just a thought, darling. Apparently Eric Pike is cheating on Monica, and they have 3 teenage sons.
No, I expect poor Pike just has a gorgeous wife whom he rudely takes for granted, much like I do, and who has a vivid imagination working overtime.
You're a spy, aren't you? Something to do with the government, and your Maisie Hawk is some kind of Miss Moneypenny.
I think that's, well...
Spot on, darling.
Preposterous was the word I was looking for, darling. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
There is a phone call for you, Mr. Lethbridge Stewart. A Miss Hawk from your office?
Well, go on.
Yes, excuse me.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. We are now scrambled.
How in the blazes did you find me? Do you know how inconvenient this is?
Terribly sorry, sir. You weren't at home, and your babysitter said you'd gone out with Mrs. Lethbridge Stewart for dinner. Having been your administrative assistant since we were based in Guildford, I have booked more than one table for two at the Sawkins Head.
Don't get funny, Hawk. What is it?
A Navy sub in the Small Marshes area has reported detecting strange underwater movements, sir. Possibly a submersible.
In what area? Why is this worth interrupting a very expensive dinner, Corporal?
Something came up yesterday, sir, while you were lunching with Sir John Sudbury. The doctor said he was going to show you the report and discuss it with you before he left. It involves Small Marshes, a sea town near Hastings, in Kent.
I know where Hastings is, Corporal. I can also tell you that I didn't see the doctor at any time after Sir John left. Now tell me what the doctor has gone to see, find, or do.
I'm sorry, sir. I should have told you earlier, but...
Corporal Hawk, you have already ruined my evening out. I suspect my wallet is going to have to stand another 2 or 3 evenings out if I'm to pacify my wife. You, it would appear, have kept something from me, but not from the doctor. As briefly as you can, Hawk, what is going on?
Silurians.
Are you sure, Hawk?
Yes, sir. We've got the original report here. Miss Shaw has seen it as well, although she asked me not to tell you that. I have tried reaching her on her London number you gave me recently, but it's been engaged for a while. I think perhaps you should see this report before we go any further.
I think I should have been shown it a day and a half ago, Corporal, so that unit could have reacted properly. This has all the hallmarks of what Sergeant Benton would term a cock-up, and believe me, right now the doctor is in very deep water. I shall be with you as soon as I've dropped Mrs. Lethbridge Stewart at home. Now, as if this evening wasn't ruined already, is there anything else?
Have you seen the news this evening, sir?
No, Corporal. I have better things to do than watch television. What earth-shattering event have I missed? Michael Parkinson interviewing one of the Silurians?
Someone tried assassinating Sir John Sudbury. The bullets used were C-19 issue. The Grapevine is linking it, tenuously, to Sir Marmaduke Harrington Smythe and the Glasshouse team.
Wonderful news, Corporal. All I need now is Scobie to accidentally launch an all-out nuclear strike against the Chinese, and my day will be perfect. I want everybody in the operations room in 45 minutes.
I'm sorry, sir. The lady has, departed. She hailed a cab, said you would pay the...
Here. I imagine this covers everything.
More than adequate, sir. Are you really sure you want to...
Yes. Quite sure.
Well, you botched that, didn't you? And I was led to believe you were one of the best.
I am the best.
Tosh and nonsense, old chap. Tosh and nonsense. You're a second-rate East End hood whose reputation is probably bought rather than earned. Scotch?
Please.
Now, what are we going to do with you? Sir John is still alive, and although the evidence neatly points to the Glasshouse, thanks to the tidbits we left for the Parliamentary Internal Investigations to find, we have 3 innocent corpses in a morgue, and 1 blighter with a bit of a scratch on his shoulder. Harrington Smythe is going to find it quite easy to squirm out of this one.
The size of the rifle you gave me were misaligned.
I'll have the armorer reprimanded for it. I think it's time to get daring. Do the job outlined in here, and then lie low for a few days. After that, I think we'll go get our policewoman back from Sir Marmaduke's grubby little mitts. And if you screw up once more, the bottle goes into you.
I have to say, Sula, there are marked differences between your group here and Ockdale's group. You're very different from the Earth reptiles. You have what seem to be fins rather than ears.
You are correct, Ape. And before you prod and poke us any further, we are different. We are hybrids. We are...
Enough, Connie. The apes do not need to know everything.
Of course, Bob.
Sisters, you have done well. The ape hatchling is exactly what I needed for my experiments. Take it away.
What are you going to do with the boy?
It is no concern of yours, Ape. If the Triad has no objections, I will start breaking this one down. Interrogate the old ape as much as you like. Just ensure that it is killed afterwards. Is that all right with you, Chuck?
Yes.
And Chuck, be sure to disinfect this area. I can feel the ape's fleas crawling all over my skin already.
Noble Triad, please guarantee the safety of the ape hatchling.
What are you going to do to me?
Make use of you, ape. You never know. You may be our only way of surviving.
I'd like to help. Really, I would.
Stand there, under the encoder.
Begin.
It is working. Observe. You do not possess such technology. This is a hologram, and it has reproduced every facet of your body. Your inferior mind cannot begin to grasp the concepts involved.
Tell me about your technology anyway.
It has spirit for an ape.
Here it looks like you, but now we have a wireframe image of you. Here you are in infrared. We can see your inner body and trace your genetic code. Here we can see it all. Here we can find the chromosomes that make you different from us. We will separate them, bind them with our own and create new ones. We needed a young hatchling on the brink of puberty, while its body chemistry is in such a marvelous state of flux. With you, we may be able to single out the exact piece of genetic material that can save us all.
When will you do this?
Very soon, ape. Very soon.
Will it hurt much?
Oh, probably. But you shouldn't worry about the pain. Whether it hurts you or not, it will most definitely kill you. We can proceed immediately. Let us start.